So there's a clear distinction between how we define growth and how we define scale. And I'm going to give you two personal experiences. One is early in my career, I always had significant, impossible goals. And so when I was creating my organization early on, I want to go from one person to 40 people to 100 people to 200 people, 400 people. And our growth was we went from 0 to 2.5 million, from 2.5 million to 7 million, from 7 million to 10 million, and then we stagnated. And so early on, you could say I experienced scale. Later on, I experienced growth. And here's the distinction. Scale is when you're chasing the impossible and you're chasing things that create exponential results. And financially, you go from, 2 to 7, you double, you triple, you quadruple. And that's what scaling is. What growth is when you get stagnant and you say 10% growth is good. 15% growth is fine. 20% growth, it's still a good year. But it forces no innovation, no real improvement, no real leverage. And I experienced that. So I experienced scale and I experienced stagnation. I think growth is closer to stagnation. And scaling is when you actually experience the exponential results of growing 100%, 200%, 300% in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And that's the study that we are most interested in. That's where we spend our time researching and dissecting.
So your focus is right now today is really on helping individuals and companies to scale. Basically, that's what you believe should be the focus, right?
Right. And I believe
Because
also, Michael, that it's
Mhm.
easier. I truly believe this. If you're a company at $2 million, it's easier to go from 2 to 10 than it is from 2 to 3.
it's easier to go from 2 to 10 than to go from 2 to 3. How about that?
When you optimize for growth,
Mm-hmm.
so let's just say you want to move the needle to a little bit incremental growth, that forces incremental thinking. And so if I want to go from 2 million to 2.5 million, I just got to go do more of what I'm currently doing, which requires more work, more grit, more willpower, etc. But the moment I say I want to go from 2 to 10, it actually doesn't require more work. It requires more smarts. It requires better thinking, better leverage. It actually forces you to be a better businessman or
Mm.
woman. And so when you experience exponential growth, it's not necessarily a byproduct of hours. It's a byproduct of the right leverage, the right pathways, the right distribution channels. Versus when you go from 2 to 2.5 or 2 to 3, it might be 80-hour weeks. It might be a lot more calls,
Mm.
a lot more sales, a lot more everything. So that's why I believe that exponential is much easier than incremental. Depends on the phase of where you're at. So if you're at like $0 to $2 million, I'd say that's
Mm-hmm.
the phase of proving that there's a market, what we call PMF, product market fit. And so if you can go get revenue, which shows that there's demand at a high volume early on, it shows that you have something, and that is proof that it should scale. And so uh, if you're not getting revenue, it means that you're probably rowing the wrong boat, have the wrong product, wrong idea, wrong model, and you should pay attention and pivot accordingly. And so in that phase, it's definitely an indicator that you should scale. Now, in later phases, as revenue increases, it means that things are working. And if optimized and directed correctly, that you can make it go a lot faster and a lot bigger. And so to answer your question, revenue is always a good sign. And when you're not having revenue, there's a lesson there that needs to be learned that you have to
Yeah.
pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely.